everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to learn how to crochet the Spirit Cowl, which you can see here in the photo in front of you. Also, if you head over to richtexturescrochet.com, you'll find some more photos of the cowl here. I do have my sample one here. This is a beautiful, fairly thick infinity cowl, so you can wear it twisted and that, or you can also wear it as a hooded cowl. It's really up to you. I am working today with a lightweight yarn. This is the Mandala Bonus Bundle by Lion Brand. It comes in some gorgeous shades, and if you're using the bonus bundle, which has about 1181 yards in it, if you're using this one, you'll only need one cake for the cowl. It measures approximately 15 inches wide by 27 inches when it is laid flat. You're also going to need a 5mm crochet hook or an H8 and a copy of the free written instructions, which is on my website at richtexturescrochet.com. One final note about the yarn, the one that you see here in my photo and here on video, the color is called Spirit. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Take a look around. This channel is updated every single week with free crochet patterns and stitch tutorials. For our pattern today, it is worked in rounds, and we are going to be turning at the end of each round. But at the end of each round, you'll join with a slip stitch before you turn. So we're going to start by making our foundation chain. And for our foundation chain today, we're going to start by chaining 261 stitches. If you would like to change the length of your cowl, you will need a multiple of 3 stitches for this foundation chain. So go ahead, chain 261 chains. Once you have your foundation chain worked, you're going to join your chain with a slip stitch into your first stitch. You want to be careful not to twist this chain, and just go ahead into that first chain, join with a slip stitch. It will make a fairly large ring. Now in my video today, I am adjusting the length of my foundation chain in multiples of 3, so you'll see mine is slightly shorter just so I can show it better here in the video. You're then going to, once you've joined with a slip stitch into that first stitch, chain 1, and round 1, we're going to start off by working a single crochet into that first chain, and then single crochet into each chain all the way around. At the end of round 1, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. Chain 1 and then turn your work. Now for round 2, we're going to begin by working a bobble stitch into our first stitch. To work your bobble stitch, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over and draw up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. You're going to do that a total of 4 times. So there's 1, then yarn over into the same stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. That's twice. 2 more times. 1 and 2. You're then going to yarn over and draw through all 5 loops on your hook, and then single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. You're going to see that your bobble pops out onto the other side. You're now going to repeat that all the way around. Bobble stitch into your next stitch. and single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. When you come around to your first bobble stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of round 2, when you come all the way around, you're going to join with a slip stitch just into the top of your first bobble stitch. That chain 1 does not count as a stitch. You're then going to chain 1 and turn your work. You should now have your bobbles all facing you on the front side. Now for round 3, we're going to single crochet into our first stitch, and then single crochet into each stitch all the way around. When you come to your first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of round 3, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch and chain 1. Turn your work. Now for round 4, we're going to begin by working into our first stitch. We're going to work a single crochet, chain 1, and double crochet back into the same stitch. Skip the next 2 stitches and into your next stitch, work a single crochet, chain 1, and double crochet back into the same stitch. You're going to repeat this all the way around. Skip the next 2 stitches, into your next stitch, single crochet, chain 1, and double crochet all the way around until you come to your first stitch and then join with a slip stitch into your first stitch. When you come all the way around at the end of round 4, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of that first stitch, chain 1, and turn your work. Now for rounds 5 through to 10, you're going to work these single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, double crochet stitches in each chain 1 space all the way around. So what I did was I just kind of jumped over into the first chain 1 space, work a single crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. Then skip to the next chain 1 space, into that chain 1 space, work a single crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. You're going to repeat that all the way around, working single crochet, chain 1, double crochet into each chain 1 space all the way around. When you come to that first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch, chain 1, turn your work. You're going to repeat this for a total of 6 rounds. So this will get you through to round 10, and then you can meet me back here. At the end of round 10, this is what your work will look like. For round 11, you'll have chained 1 and turned your work. You're then going to work a single crochet into your first stitch and single crochet into each chain 1 space and each stitch all the way around. When you come to your first stitch, work a single join with the slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. When you come all the way around at the end of round 11, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. Chain 1 and turn your work. Now for round 12, we're going to begin by working a bobble stitch into that first stitch. Next, work a single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Work a bobble stitch into the next stitch, and single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. You're going to repeat that all the way around and join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of round 12, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch, which is your first bobble stitch, chain 1, and turn your work. For round 13, you're simply going to single crochet into that first stitch and then single crochet into each stitch all the way around. When you come back to that first stitch, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. That then brings you to the repeat in the pattern. For the rest of the pattern, you're going to repeat rounds 4 through to 13 4 more times. So in total, once you work the repeats, you're going to have a total of 6 rounds of these bobble stitches. You'll finish off on a single crochet round, and you can fasten off weaving your ends. Again, if you'd like a copy of the written pattern, head over to richtexturescrochet.com. It's written out for you there along with these repeats. And that's all there is to working your spirit cowl. So thank you so much for joining me. Once again, I invite you to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Until then, happy crocheting. Bye.